Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself Suprit, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for February 10th, 2021. And I'm joined by yet again the general manager of Russell Square, Abby Maniac. What's up, Abby?
I'm absolutely fine, Suprit, but I'm not yet the general manager. I have just, offered my mentorship to the debutant Mr. Freak, and I have received his acceptance. I am not the general manager. Don't put rumors out there. It can or it cannot, you know, you have to just wait and see what happens.
I think we will have to check out the latest Russell Square episode then.
Yes.
So let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Pretty good show this week after their beach break episode. They did a great follow up to have even a better show. So, what did you think about this week's Dynamite?
I also think on the same lines that this episode was also very entertaining, just like last week's episode, and the fact that the main event, which was very highly anticipated in my opinion, it also, I guess, was up to the expectation in my opinion. It had chaos, it had everything which you would expect on television. Obviously, this was not a pay-per-view, so it had everything. It had every aspect of Bullet Club which had to be there. At one point I thought that maybe this is not as good as we expected, but as the end, we got to the end, it went there and it closed off, on a very good note. And overall also it was a great show.
Let's talk about rest of the card. So we had Darby Allin versus Joey Janela for the TNT Championship. Chris Jericho and MJF, so they faced the Acclaimed. We had Thunder Rosa versus Leyla Hirsch, which was the first match of this Women's World Title Eliminator tournament. And of course, the main event, it was Kenny Omega and Kenta versus Lance Archer and John Moxley in an unsanctioned Falls Count Anywhere match, and so much more. But before that, if you are new to this channel, then make sure to subscribe and turn on that post notification bell to get your notifications every time we put out a new review or a new video. Do all that fun stuff. So let's quickly get into Dynamite. So they opened up with a TNT title match. It was Darby Allin versus Joey Janela. So commentators go through the history they had in the Indies, PWG, etc. So the match begins. Both men with some technical offense. Janela was in control following a front suplex on the apron. So Allen would eventually make his comeback, targeting Janela's right arm. At one point, Allen was going for a springboard coffin drop, but Janela catches him with a German. So final parts of the match saw Allen with a code red from the top. Allen then traps the arm of Janela and hits a coffin drop for the win, and that was it. It was a really good match, and we got to see a different style here. Like we would usually see, what's the term? Indie like match.
Outlaw bullshit.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. But these
Outlaw
guys,
mud show bullshit.
actually wrestled, especially Joey Janela. So, what did you think about this match here, Abby?
I also thought that it was a different match. On paper, it was just like we expected, like it would be, as you would say that it would be a outlaw mud show bullshit, and Joey Janela would be, dragging his lazy ass here and there, and it would just be a squash match, so to speak, for the TNT champion, that is Darby Allin right now, and Team Taz would be poking their nose in this match. But the fact is that Tony Khan or TK, he has a different plans and he has a different thinking with regards to the TNT championship, and he didn't want any interference, so to speak, with regards to the championship match. So there was no sign of Team Taz here, and it was a technical bout, as you said, very unlike of both the competitors, even Darby Allin. And it was a great match. It was a competitive and physical bout. Innovative physical offense was on display by Darby Allin, and attacking each other's limbs. As you said, that one targeted one's arm, that was Darby Allin, who targeted one's arm, that is Joey Janela, putting him in the hammer lock and then locking him, and then ending with a coffin drop. Brilliant stuff. The reverse suplex face first on the apron, that looked nasty. That is Darby Allin. He does that shit to pop the crowd, and it gets people invested. Stuff like that. And besides that, uh, nothing else to say. It was a great match, and if these people wrestle like this, we would not have anything to complain. There's that.
But still, it didn't make sense at the end to why they should have made this a TNT title match.
Yes, but there's that. They could have done a lot better with regards to the promo or the video package they aired last week, or probably the stuff they put out maybe even before AEW Dynamite on social media. Even Joey Janela, he tweeted out some shit with regards to TNT Championship, that people asked that why the hell is he getting the championship shot. So he said that Darby chose me. Darby chose you. Uh, but there should be some explanation to that. That why is that? That he said that uh, Cody in the past he chose his opponents, so Darby also chose him for the championship. But you know, with a tweet, you are telling us with a tweet. You could not have told us in that video package which aired last week. What the fuck is happening? You could have done a lot better explaining that match, building that match. I know it was a one-off, but you could have made us care a little bit more. Nonetheless, it was a good match.
I think that's the reason why they didn't make this TNT title.
A main
You
event.
know, no. What was I saying? So that's the reason they didn't want to make the TNT championship like the world championship. Like, don't select the contenders based on their rankings. So they wanted to give the TNT title like yet another wrestling championship. Give it some leeway. You can pick any contenders if you want based on
Yes.
storylines or not. So I think that's the concept they were looking for when it comes for the TNT championship.
Mhm. But then also, I would agree with that absolutely. But you can, make your promo a little more compelling to get the fans invested. That's all.
So, moving on, we had a small promo from John Moxley. He hypes up tonight's unsanctioned match and also the IWGP United States Championship match that will be happening in just 2 weeks on New Japan Strong. And it's actually a small semi pay-per-view themed show. Like, it's gonna be new beginning in USA. So looking forward to that. We have Sammy Guevara. He was seen entering the inner circle locker room. So Guevara tells all the members out as he wants a private conversation with MJF. Guevara knows that MJF is trying to take over the inner circle. MJF responds saying Guevara is jealous of him when he came in the inner circle. Also said that Guevara is also jealous of Chris Jericho. and he thinks that Guevara wants to take over the inner circle. So Guevara casually agreed, and MJF got what he wanted as he recorded the entire conversation. Guevara then takes MJF's phone, slams it to the wall, and also takes a gut shot to MJF. So more of the inner circle as we get to the Acclaimed versus Chris Jericho and MJF. So before that, we had a tag team match: Cody Rhodes and Lee Johnson. So they faced Pretty Peter Avalon and Cezar Bononi. So of course, Lee Johnson is part of the Nightmare family, and the story of this match surrounded around him getting his first win in AEW. I think he is 0 and 29 before we got to this match. And by the way, we are some new members of the Nightmare family. Do you want to take a guess? Some of the names that have been added to this faction.
Uh, One, I know that the guy who faced John Moxley, Nick Comoroto, I know
Yes,
that. And other members, I do not know right now, but
I
probably I
think
would have heard of them.
Nick Comoroto is confirmed, but other name I heard was Aaron Solo, Bailey's
Hmm.
fiance.
All right. Cool.
So another new name in this match was of course Cesar Bononi. So this guy was in NXT just a year ago, and he is one of those guys. He could have been used well on the main roster, or he would have been part of Retribution by now.
Probably. He looked like anything. He was tall. He looked, like a star.
On an athletic standpoint, it does look good, but nothing more than that.
Yes, you have to invest in the guy. You have to give him a character or something like that to sink his teeth into. Other than that, if he looks, tall and he has the build, it can, pop the crowd in some shape or form, or have a dominant presence in the ring. Even I'm talking about the crowd, not only the hardcore wrestling fan. I'm talking about the casuals also. So he was released or he quit. I don't know. But the fact is, if AEW sees something in the guy, they can, make it work and make it work with the guy.
Same can also be said about Lee Johnson in this match.
Yes,
So let's get into the match. So it begins with Cody going straight after Pretty Peter Avalon, as Cody isn't taking Avalon lightly tonight. So Avalon and Bononi would dominate Cody for a while, but hot tag made to Johnson. He ran wild. So final part of the match saw Allen going for a knee drop, but Johnson ducks and goes for a roll up, and that's it. So what did you think about Lee Johnson's performance and the story of the entire match here?
uh, I guess it was, a little unexpected for me, to have a story here, as right now Cody is involved in a feud with Shaq, and he is also, making his appearance on a reality show. So probably his matches would be exhibition style. It would not be having any, sort of relevance, so to speak. But I was glad, in my opinion, that it had a story, it had a build, and it made a guy. It made a guy in Lee Johnson, and it was good that he got his first victory on Dynamite. It didn't happen on Dark, it happened on Dynamite, so it is great, and probably they would invest in the guy. They gave Lee Johnson a underdog, character here. And with regards to the match, the referee was Bryce Remsburg. Arn Anderson's son was also given a shout out at the start of the match. Brock Anderson, who was ringside. So that was also happening. Arn Anderson, we were told that he was still upset with the referee Bryce Remsburg as he missed the low blow by Avalon, which happened in the singles bout of him versus Cody. I guess it was because of Jade, who came with the interference. And in this match, Cody got his shoulder hurt after Cezar Bononi hit the pump handle suplex during the commercial break. So then it was up to Lee Johnson to get the victory. It was all him. And at the end, he got the victory. So it is great for Lee Johnson, or they gave him a nickname that is Shorty Lee. He got his first win in tag team action, and he made the Nightmare family proud.
So post match, Lee Johnson was interviewed. He credits everyone in the Nightmare family for training him, and that was it. We get to Young Bucks. So they were being interviewed. The Good Brothers jump in. So Nick blamed the Good Brothers for his elimination in the tag team battle royal. So Good Brothers say they were just to distract Pride Party and plugs in the date of no surrender. So Matt can't wait till Revolution and wants to defend the tag team titles. So they pick Santana and Ortiz as their opponents, and I think this match has been made official. Is it?
Yes, yes, it has been made official for next week.
I think you just touched upon the topic when we were discussing why Joey Janela has been selected as Darby's opponent, and some similar situation here. What do you think?
I would think that the thing which happened here was that the Good Brothers, first of all, they dusted off any responsibility that they were not, responsible for Nick Jackson's elimination. That is the whole of the Young Bucks' elimination from the Battle Royal, first of all. And second of all, they pumped them up. They pumped the Young Bucks up to defend the championship, and they pumped them up with adrenaline and with anger that now they want to fight. They want to fight anybody and everybody. So the Good Brothers listed of people that who have legit some interaction or some you know uh, what's the word here, some kind of you can say
Credibility?
animosity, you can say
Animosity.
animosity, a little bit animosity with the Young Bucks in the recent weeks. So there is LAX, there is Lucha Brothers. They didn't list Lucha Brothers here. So there are other people as well. So they chose the first people who came in their mind. They just said that I want to defend my championship, and I want to, prove, or we want to prove that we are the champions. We are the, alpha tag team champions, and we want to prove that, and we would do that next week, that the battle royal was not a proof of our excellence or of our metal. So they just want to do that. Basically next week they want to defend the championship just to satisfy their ego, and just to satisfy that they are the champions. So Good Brothers just pushed them to a championship match, and if they lose, the Good Brothers would be very happy that they lost the championship to a team, and they didn't want probably to face the Young Bucks because they are both good, legit tag teams, and they would not want to face a tough competition. They would want to face a easier competition, probably in the faces of LAX, that is Santana and Ortiz, probably.
So moving on, we had Pac versus Ryan Nemeth. So this was almost a squash match here. So Pac was dominating for the most parts. Nemeth did get some offense following a drop kick and a jumping DDT. So in the end, Pac got the win following the Black Arrow and the Brutalizer, and that was it. So basically, what they are doing is building up Pac and getting some momentum behind him. So maybe they could give him that world title match with Kenny Omega, like we pitched like last week. What did you think about
Yes.
this match, first of all?
This was, as you said, the it was a squash, and it was expected to be because the fact is that Park is ranked number three, and he's a top contender. He is ranked above, and he is in the main event scene. So why would he, do shit and give more offense to his opponent who has just appeared on Dynamite only once? So why would he? And he did just that, which was expected and which he should do, or any other main event talent should do. If you want to do shit, if you want to build someone up, go to dark, not here. And Pac, did what it was supposed to do, and it was one-way street in the initial part of the bout. The show of tendencies were full on display from Ryan Nemeth, absolutely, because he's Dolph Ziggler's brother. And for instance, as you said, the stalling jumping DDT he did, and which Pac sold like $1 million. And they did a camera cut to that. So probably they didn't want Pac to be shown like that, selling, because he's a main event star and he's selling for a guy who has just made one appearance. So probably they did for that, because it was a little odd. He does a great sell for that. He does, like this. He stands up and he does like this. And they did a camera cut to that, behind the referee, that the referee blocks it most of the shot. And they also said, the commentators, that Pac is probably the only guy who has defeated Kenny Omega on AEW television. So that is also a big thing. So yes, as you were saying, that they are building him up for a future world title shot, and it is expected to happen sooner rather than later. And he won via submission. That is a brutalizer. And the referee for this match was the PWG Rick Knox.
Speaking about PWG, we get the highlights of last week's wedding. So Miro is. It was a weird transition here, but I had to say something, so I said PWG. So what happened was Miro is mad at Orange Cassidy for ruining the wedding last week. We also hear from Cassidy himself, and he was stating the obvious, saying everyone knew that Orange Cassidy was about to pop from that cake. And there you go. Up next, we have Chris Jericho. So he was being interviewed, but in comes MJF. So he was all taped up. So he was selling the gut shot from Guevara. So Jericho doesn't know what the hell is going on. So both men make their way to the rings as we were about to get I'm saying Guevara, Jericho and MJF versus the Acclaimed. And one thing to note here, the Acclaimed are still heels, but they worked as baby faces here. So the best part of this match came, so before the I go through the match. So they also brought up history between MJF and the Acclaimed, as all three men trained in the what's the academy? Create a Pro Wrestling Academy, which is run by Brian Myers. So as I was saying, the best part of this match came in the ending. So Caster used a boombox on Jericho, which got a near fall. So the inner circle members got involved. So Bones gets sent to the outside, and he lands awkwardly on the mat. So the legal men were Jericho and Caster. So Jake Hager gets involved and he shoves Caster off the top. So Jericho hits the Judas effect, and that was it. So what did you think about this match here, and especially the performance from the acclaimed?
Uh, I guess, moreover, the story was what was happening with the inner circle and not the, match, so to speak. The fact is, the acclaimed also, they are, in my opinion, their character sells itself to the people. Uh, the rap they do, and they also, put out a music video which Slamhub Wrestling retweeted on Twitter. And the fact is that they tried to build up this bout. They gave a shit. So there's that. In my opinion, this was as it was supposed to be. It was not, very flashy or something like that. It wasn't very, you can say, extraordinary. But the fact is, what was expected of them, that is, the acclaimed have to, be a PAWN for inner circles, uh, you know, shenanigans, what is happening there. So they were there for that. And it was a decent match. It was not bad at all. It was not bad at all. And there is also one facet which is looming with the inner circle, that is LAX are set to face the Young Bucks next week. But MJF and Jericho were the first people who were getting the shot at the tag team champions, that is the Young Bucks. So, how well this boards with the inner circle members, we have to wait and see for that as well. And you said that Guevara, it was insinuated that Guevara injured MJF in the backstage segment with the shot to the gut. uh, MJF taped it up like anything. He's a master manipulator at work. He's a genius. And the Bucks and the team of MJF and Jericho, they are set to face one another at Revolution. That is March 7th. The acclaimed dominated the initial part of the bout with MJF, as MJF was selling his injury like anything, that, oh, I'm hurt, stuff like that. And Sammy Guevara is the reason for that. And MJF will have an excuse. In the midst of the bout, you can see that MJF will have an excuse for the loss in this match. If they lose, he had an excuse, that was Sammy Guevara and his injured ribs. That Sammy Guevara would go under the bus, and Jericho, he would not have a win, and that could translate to the other members that Jericho is not winning, so why the hell would you win? So he could go for a takeover. And there was a spot with the abdominal stretch illegal between MJF and Jericho that looked very great. And it is, tag team wrestling, old school shit, that was sweet. And the final, you said that the boombox shot pinfall attempt, that was quite close. That was absolutely, close, and it was great for that. That we thought that the acclaimed would get the victory, and finally, Jericho and MJF got the victory with the Judas effect.
So we also had a post-match celebration, and in comes Sammy Guevara. So he confronts Jericho. So Jericho wants to know what the hell is going on. Guevara reminds Jericho about the ultimatum he had given to him in December. So it was that if he had a problem with MJF, then he would be done with the inner circle. Jericho asks Guevara, "What do you mean by done?" So Guevara says he quits the inner circle. So we also see Guevara leaving the building, and he said that he needs a break. So the story is finally progressing here. Guevara is finally out of the inner circle, and we have to see what's next with Jericho. Will the same fate come to him too?
I guess so. I guess so. It would be happening. Last week on the review, we discussed that Guevara and Jericho would be the eventual baby faces, and MJF would take over the inner circle, and all of this would most possibly would be happening at Revolution. We could see Guevara at Revolution, or maybe the Dynamite post Revolution, possibly. Now he's gone, we would not be seeing him till Revolution.
Speaking about manipulation, we see Hangman Page and Matt Hardy in an empty bar. So this was basically a treat from Hardy for their tag team victory last week. So Page was having a lot of drinks while Hardy was not even drinking and just spilling out the entire thing. So seeing that Page is all drunk, Hardy gave him a quote unquote contract. So Page signs this contract, and also Hardy had a cameraman, of course, to document this entire thing, and Hardy just leaves. So there you go.
No, no, no. I guess you didn't catch that, probably. Hangman Page changed the papers. He had some papers of his own. He took out that from his jacket and he made Matt Hardy sign that. You didn't catch that.
Did that really happen?
Yes, it did.
I think I
It
was
did.
more focused on Matt Hardy when he said, "Cameraman, focus on this. We should document this." I didn't even
Hmm.
notice Hangman signing that contract.
Yes, he did. He changed the papers. Uh,
Okay, that was a great swerve then.
hmm. I guess he did.
Did
In
that
my
really happen?
opinion, he
I ask
did.
you again.
Uh, if you're saying that I saw something else, I no, I was not deceived, man. I was thoroughly focused watching that, and I saw him. Hangman Page was very much aware that Matt Hardy could pull some shit, and he changed the papers. He took out the papers from the envelope, the whole of it, and he threw that away. And he pulled off uh, a bunch of papers from his jacket, which he was wearing, jacket or hoodie, whatever you want to call that. He took out that. In my opinion, that happened. And now you are saying something else. This is an impasse, man. We should move on. I guess what happened, what I saw, what you saw.
At least if your theory is correct, then at least they made effort to make Hangman Page look little smarter.
Yes.
So up next, we're about to get a Sting interview, but it's interrupted by Taz. We see Taz and Will Hobbs in a car. So Taz reminds us about the warning he had given last week. So we see Starks and Cage. So they were zipping Darby Allin in a body bag. So this body bag was tied to the car, and the car drags the body bag. And Sting made sure that he would react after he was done watching this whole clip. And another thing, legend has it that Team Taz is still dragging Darby Allin.
Darby Allin likes pain, so there's that.
This is your
But
typical formulaic Sting Team Taz angle they do every week. Sting would go on to speak something, then would get interrupted by Taz, and they would beat someone else or either one of Darby Allin or any other wrestler. So that's their formulaic build they are doing for the. I know, I don't know, maybe last month or so.
Yes. And what else they can do with him? They cannot get physical with
Physical.
him before, the pay-per-view. So because there is an aura, there is a mystique, there is, a brand value with the guy, and they do not want to hamper anything with him. So they are just saving him, but then also you have weekly television to do.
You
So
could
how do you do that? It is very difficult to build the pay-per-view, to
they could
build
at
their
le-
match.
they could at least take a week off, send him home. Like
They
doesn't
could,
have
but
to. Like
they
in
could,
my
but
in my opinion,
mhm.
it doesn't have to be on TV every week. You know,
Probably he is a ratings draw, and probably they have paid him so much money, so they are expecting, to have him every week, and they are also not, you know, taping every week. They tape once, and then the other show, one show is live, the other are taped. So why not use the guy? Because he is a draw, the people would get invested. The fans who are watching from the WCW era, they would get invested absolutely, and the younger fans would get invested, that who is this guy who paints his face, and he looks mysterious, and stuff like that. And then the other people who are changing the channel, if they see someone like Sting, they could stop and then see that who is this guy and what is happening. Or maybe even the lapsed fan who see changing the channel, and they see Sting, and then, oh my God, Sting is still wrestling, he is still here, what is happening? So probably there's that. And you have given so much money for the guy, and he is also willing to appear on television, and he doesn't have a lot of years to compete, and he's willing to do so. Why wouldn't utilize to the full potential? Maybe there's that.
you made a great explanation, but still they could make that effort to not showcase him every week. At least give him 1 week gap or something. Like we have
They,
seen the same thing for a month now. It does get a
yeah,
little stale if we see the same thing every week.
it does. I perfectly agree. Oversaturation, it kills. I perfectly agree. They could do. They could do that. They could do something like, backstage segment, pre-taped interviews. Perfectly. I agree.
So from that we have so they show Kenny Omega. He was in a golf course. So he can Don Callis were golfing. So Omega takes a swing. Marvez was there to get some word, of course. So Omega is asked why is he here golfing. Instead, he should be preparing himself for this big main event. So Omega said he wanted a break, and by the way, he has forgotten to lose a match. So we see Omega, he somehow managed to pot the ball as they quote unquote cheated, and also left Marves stranded on this golf course. So that was the entire segment.
Captain No Charisma.
So we have Leyla Hirsch versus Thunder Rose next. So this is the first match from the US block of the AEW Women's World Title Eliminator. So before we get into this match, a bunch of news regarding this tournament. So Hikaru Shida, so she actually went to Japan to help produce the matches for the Japanese block. And by the way, the Japanese block matches, it will not be happening on Dynamite.
No.
Instead, they will be featuring this from next Monday on YouTube. And I think if they were going to feature this on YouTube, they should have put this on AW Dark instead. But anyways, it's still important than that tag team tournament they did a few months ago, and I'm gonna watch this.
Yes, absolutely. And there is also, a match scheduled. If you are a wrestling fan and if you want to watch some shit, so there is a match. I guess it is tomorrow or it is day after. You have to, go to the Gato Move Pro Wrestling YouTube channel, and there is a tag team match which is booked. That is the Best Bros. That is the Wrestle Square OG Palyanakki. He's tagging with Mei Suruga, who is booked for the AEW Women's Title Eliminator. They are tag teaming against Feni, who is also known as Asuka. She is also booked for the tournament, and she is tagging with Emi Sakura. She is also booked for the tournament. And the special guest referee is the AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida. So, if you want to watch it, go watch it on YouTube on the Gato Move Pro Wrestling channel.
By the
There's that.
way, speaking about this Japanese block, so Maki Ito has already gotten over after she shut down Jim Cornette on Twitter.
She's the deity of shit.
Imagine that. For the past year, Jim Cornette was saying AEW has Japanese schoolgirl, and finally a Japanese schoolgirl shuts him down.
Yes, and
Brilliant.
brilliant. And now I guess the last interaction they both had, he seems to be sold on her. So, there's that.
Then she has to, seeing the fanfare, she has to be winning this block then. At least going to the finals. She will not be winning the tournament, of course, but she will be winning this block.
Possibly, and Cody also gave her a shout out on Twitter, and we have to wait and see what happens.
So let's get back to the Leyla Hirsch
Let's go,
versus
motherfuckers.
Yo. So let's talk about Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa. A decent match here. So they started with some technical offense early on. Hirsch was on point with her submissions. Rosa responds with some submissions of her own. So Hirsch went for a moonsault, but Rosa got her knees up. So Hirsch with some comeback made a comeback following back-to-back Germans. But at the end, we see Rosa. She hit the Thunder Driver for the win, and that was it. So, what did you think about this match, and who do you think will be the favorites on the US side to win the block? Of course,
Mm, this was not bad. It was a decent match, and the two, legit competitors. It was a competitive bout, not bad at all. And with regards to who can win the American side, you know, you said it could be Britt Baker. I would also, say the same. It could very well be. And we could see Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker probably sometime.
I think
Probably
it
in this.
I think it will be seeing the brackets how they have booked these matches. The two women that will be going in the semifinals are Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Maybe Nyla Rose because we are getting Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker. If you know,
Britt Baker and versus Nyla Rose.
if
Brad,
if
Britt,
uh, if Britt Baker, so first round matches are like this. We have Britt Baker versus Anna Jay and Ty Conti versus Nyla Rose.
all right.
So the two
So
favorites are Baker and Rosa.
yes. Hmm. All right. And with regards to this match, Rosa said that she wants Hikaru Shida. She wants to face her. She wants the NWA Women's Championship back from Serena Deeb, and she wants Britt Baker. That is no question about that. As she lost to Britt Baker via pinfall, I guess. No, sorry, she lost via submission, with being thrusted upon the exposed steel turnbuckle courtesy of Reba, not Rebel. And Rosa, for this match, she is having the lucha libre and the MMA background. She still, I guess, is doing mixed martial arts. And Leyla Hirsch is, she was having and she is still having the amateur wrestling background. Rosa, with the speed and the experience. Meanwhile, Hirsch, the strength, the fitness, the cardio. Rosa showed a mean streak in this bout, a vicious side, possibly working as a tweener, probably not a heel, full blown, and against a pure, American. No, I guess she is not American. Babyface,
Russian.
yes, Russian, pure babyface, Leila Hirsch. And as I said, it was a competitive and physical bout. At the end, Thunder Rosa won with the Thunder Driver.
So from that we get to a short interview with Jungle Boy. So they talk about Jungle Boy talks about the kidnapping of Marco Stunt by FTR. Marco Stunt is absolutely fine. So Jungle Boy brings up the great match he had with Dax Harwood, and he sends a warning to FTR, and that was it. So finally, let's talk about what we were waiting for the entire night, the main event. Kenny Omega and Kenta versus John Moxley and Lance Archer in a false count anywhere unsanctioned match. So the forbidden door has been opened. Like after what happened last week in the main event, Kenta appearing. So let's talk about this AEW New Japan partnership because I got some news on it, and it comes from Dave Meltzer himself. So the partnership is legit, like he said on the latest Wrestling Observer, and he also told a story of when AEW was first coming up. They actually had a meeting with New Japan for a partnership, but they got rejected due to them still having heat with Omega and the Bucks leaving. So another reason that this partnership didn't happen was because the former New Japan president Harold May, he was not on board with this partnership. And another thing when it comes to trading talents, so AEW guys can't go over there for obvious reasons, and the only New Japan talent that can work AEW are the guys that come to the US just to work New Japan Strong. So there you go. So I wanted to get your thoughts on what is this entire partnership impact, AEW New Japan. What does this benefit in the larger scheme of things?
Larger scheme of things, I guess Dave Meltzer also said that when these travel restrictions they get out of the way, we can possibly see anything and everything. The forbidden door as we can come about was not you know as much as it was Tony Khan himself. He said it on this week's Impact Wrestling also, and it is legit. Why? Because Dave Meltzer also said that New Japan, they were thinking that Tony Khan was big leaguing them. That is that whenever they had a meeting, Tony Khan didn't, meet them personally. He sent Kenny or he sent the Bucks,
The Bucks.
even because those people are from the office. They are executive vice presidents. That is a shoot. That is real. But the fact is that New Japan saw it like, they are just sending us talent to speak. The person who matters, we want to talk to him. But then when it actually happened, then things, they manifested in itself. And then the former general manager, that is Harold May, you said that he is now gone. So that also opens the door with New Japan and AEW. And the fact that there is a problem between New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact Wrestling, that dates to the fact that how Impact Wrestling treated probably Okada and their Japanese guys in the past. But the fact is that now it can be solved, because now they would make them understand that the ownership of then and the ownership of now is very different. Now the ownership is different, and they understand business and they understand it in a different light. So now you can trust us, and you can send your talent here, and we can send your talent there as well. So there's that. And the fact is that what is brewing between AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, so we have to just wait and see that what is happening. The main thing which we can see right now, it is Bullet Club. The Bullet Club is the center right now. It worked in the past. It was the biggest thing which transcended independent wrestling. Also, the people or the fans of WWE also got to know of the Bullet Club. Even if they didn't know of what is Bullet Club, they knew of this, the T-shirt. That also got to penetrate their minds that what is Bullet Club, we have to know them. And when they saw stuff regarding the Bullet Club in New Japan Pro Wrestling or Ring of Honor or other places, then they got invested in the Bullet Club, and even then they got invested in New Japan Pro Wrestling and other stuff as well. So they are probably rewriting history. They are probably doing the Bullet Club phenomena again on a bigger stage in the American soil. That now they are uh, probably connecting the world's United States and Japan with the Bullet Club. And now they are probably wanting to take over the world, so to speak, which they wanted probably. And now they are running the programming on three uh,
Promotions.
promotions, probably four: NWA, AEW, Impact Wrestling, and NWA, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. So you are essentially watching everything. So that would benefit your ratings as well. That could benefit your merchandise as well. And whatever happens on Twitter, that also creates an impact as well, because if you are liking each other's Twitter or tweets or whatever, that also transcends to your fans as well. That could also cross over as well. So that also creates an quote unquote impact. That what is happening here, it is very uh, different, and what can happen, we have to wait and see. It is revolutionary probably, and we have to wait and see that how it transpires now, because they are interacting on Twitter. And what we are seeing right now, we the if or when the restrictions are out of the way, then we can see the stuff. We are probably the dream matches of the Japanese guys versus the AW guys. And even many of the AW guys are going there and performing. That would be happening. But the reverse has never happened. that could now happen with the relationship now moving forward.
So let's talk about this match. Overall, it was good, but I didn't like certain spots. Like they kind of tried to overdo, but still good match. So what happened was Kenta jumped Moxley from the get-go with the briefcase. Kenta and Omega had some problems, but they still worked together. So they fight in the crowd. We see Kenta, GTS, Peter Avalon. So Archer slams Omega into the pretty bed, and all four men fight backstage and into the kitchen. So at one point, Moxley was laid out on the ring announcer's table. Meanwhile, Archer was going to powerbomb Kenta on the commentary table, but Kenta escapes, and Kenta does a diving foot stomp on Moxley, which looked great. So back in, Archer was going for the blackout on Omega, but here comes the Good Brothers. So they come for the save, attack Archer. So Jake Roberts was in. He takes out Anderson, but he gets attacked by Gallows. Omega was about to V-trigger Roberts, but Moxley comes in, attacks everyone with the barbed wire bat. So Kenta with a GTS to Moxley, Omega with a V trigger on Archer. So Good Brothers with the Magic Killer, Omega with a little assist from the Good Brothers, hits a one-winged angel to Archer, and that was it. So what did you think about this match, and especially that Archer once again gets pinned? And I think it's one thing protecting him with certain finishes, but it's time that AEW stop putting Lance Archer in situation like this on a regular basis. So what did you think about this match?
Mm, with regards to Lance Archer, they said that it needed four men to stop Lance Archer. So probably that could, probably save his, pinfall what happened, because most of this match was, utter chaos. Basically, it was not, a wrestling match, or maybe something that you could sink your teeth into, or maybe it was just purely chaos, or what is happening in the ring, what is happening in the kitchen, and stuff like that. Most of the match is, uh, you know, investing yourself from the storyline and the Forbidden Door, what happened. That is basically what invested you in this match. And it was a TV match. It was meant, what was meant for. Kenta right now is the US title challenger briefcase holder, and Kenny Omega is the AEW World Champion. John Moxley is the IWGP US Heavyweight Champion, and he was holding the belt for probably the first time on AEW television. It was meant to showcase, you know, uh, John Moxley and Kenta. They were, fighting like anything in the ring. Most of the time, they were inside the ring. They were fighting like anything, hyping their bout. I guess it is in 2 weeks. Yes, it is in 2 weeks. And they all used, shit like trash cans, steel sheet, ladder, anything and everything. As you said, Omega and Kenta had, uh, tension, but they still worked together, and they worked great, and they know how to work and, you know, satisfy the wrestling fans. And, you know, they used a potato sack in the kitchen. That, you know, fucking genius. And there was a tweet, I guess I saw it, I guess 2 days ago, that Kenta is an innovator. He's a genius of, wrestling moves. So people probably stole from him, or they got inspired from him. That Plata crossface, which he did, uh, Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson took it from him. The Busaiku knee strike,
Daniel Bryan.
Bryan took it from him. I knew that at the time because I was aware. and GTS, G2S, CM Punk took it from him, and the rest of the move set, Shibata took. Is it true or is it not? Because you
It is
would
true
be.
that what's that diving leg drop he does on the corner. He took that from Shibata. No. He actually innovated it. Shibata took that from Kenta. There you go. Yet another example.
Hmm. So there's that the OG, the innovator, the genius, that is Kenta. So the running diving foot storm from the stage by Kenta on Moxley out of nowhere, that was fucking, oh my God moment. Seriously. And the Good Brothers came to the rescue of the champion. The gun stun to Archer, that was a little, you can say, surprising because, but nonetheless, they are champions, the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team champions, so they could get a little offense on a guy. Even the baseball bat by John Moxley, the barbed wire baseball bat, couldn't hold down the Bullet Club. That was the headline for this match, the end. And in the end, Omega and Kenta won via pinfall, as I guess as expected. The one winged angel to Lance Archer. That was it. And Archer probably has lost, got the pinfall, but they would be, they are building him right now. Right now, last he was in a feud with Eddie Kingston. Now he has been pushed in the main event stage. So if he is just getting a pinfall, but he lost against four or five guys, I should say five guys if we count Kenta also. Four or five, no, four. I would say four. So there's that. And he would be getting a world title shot in the near future. So there is a, you can say, a sense of revenge now. He would want revenge from the world champion, that is Kenny Omega. So we can see a match soon. That was it for this
So that
match.
was a dynamite. But another thing to note was that AEW posted a video on their social media. So what happened was Callis, Omega, and the Good Brothers did a press conference. Okay, so they talked about the Bullet Club in New Japan, saying they brought them back to relevancy, and they also named but they also name dropped Jay White, and they all said that they are the guys over in New Japan. They are our brothers, and they also told the fans to buy their merch, help them, support them. Oh, so the main topic was the situation going on with the Bullet Club. Okay, so I think the timing is perfect. Why not we do Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, Blood and Guts? And do you remember when I said the only guys, only New Japan guys that can come to the states are the guys that can work NJPW strong.
Hmm. Yes,
Interesting part is five of these guys are from Bullet Club. We got Jay White, we got Gorillas of Destiny, Kenta. If you want to do this Blood and Guts, add in a Bad Luck Fale for nostalgia purpose. That's the money match.
absolutely.
So that was dynamite for you.
That was dynamite. They are building every week, to a point which we can't probably even see right now that what is happening, and even with the political scenario, what can happen. You know, you are excited to see every week what is happening.
The
What the fuck?
landscape, the landscape of pro wrestling is changing. Like I said, what Tony Khan tweeted all that months ago.
Absolutely.
So before we leave, anything you wanted to add before we leave?
Uh, Guys, you can follow me on or support me on Instagram and Twitter at AbbyManiac, and you can also support this independent wrestling promotion in India. I am working for uh, Wrestle Square. You can subscribe to their YouTube channel. I am currently mentoring a young guy who debuted last night, Mr. Freak, and I am working there as a commentator also. So support independent wrestling.
You can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at SlamhubW, Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling. And if you don't want to watch this review on the YouTube app, then you can catch the audio versions on Anchor and Spotify as well. So this was the AEW Dynamite review, and we'll see you guys next time.